Good Wednesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs, motorcycles, the dogs, life, all those things. Wednesday morning, and happy pre-Thanksgiving, I guess you'd say. Wow, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Gobble gobble, and are you ready? But hey, appreciate all those that watch my channel. And anybody new watching me, appreciate you giving me a chance to talk and gab and share what I think we all kind of have in common. Maybe not so much you think you're me or I think you're you, but I think we're all on the same page when it comes to age. TV, meaning the internal combustion engine age that we're living in, that the EV age is trying to take. And if you want a nice sticker for your car or whatever, you can just email me at iceagetvcomments@gmail.com, and I'll send you a sticker to share the love of the Ice Age, because so many around us want us to lose the Ice Age. Yes, so many around us want us to lose the ice in our life. Look at the weather. Yesterday, just heavy rains all day. Hey, get in the barn. But you know what? We need the rain. We so desperately need rains. I mean, we just need really weeks and weeks of rains up here to really replenish all the lost water that that is truly happening, the drought in so many ways, because it's just so dry up here. But not really, but it is. It pounds really down. But you're hearing the word lost. And I thought to myself, hey, how do we keep the week going on the theme for the conversations in the morning? I thought the Monday morning was the stolen conversation. Tuesday was the quitting conversation. And I thought Wednesday would be appropriate to say, let's talk about the losing conversations. And those that watch my channel, I try to take the conversations of us with these words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and I try to create them into the vehicle conversations that turn into the state of time conversations. That's kind of what I try to do in my morning conversations, keep the car, motorcycle talk. I know we just talk about reality talk, but look here. I've lost so many vehicles from selling vehicles and trading vehicles, but yet here I've bought them back. If you're watching my channel, beyond believable how this all played out. And yeah, am I crazy? I lost the CB650 and I brought her back. I don't know what it is about me that gets on these fixations of these cars and trucks and motorcycles. It makes me do the things I do. Yeah, what is wrong with me, right? Have I lost it? Yeah, I'm sure so many views. Some people watch my channel and say that guy has lost it. That guy needs help. Yeah, well, it's been going on my whole life. I'm still here. You don't live forever, but I'm living right now, and that's my goal in life, is I'm still able to get around, do things. As you get older, sadly, you can't do everything you do when you're younger. You don't get that till you get to be older. And sadly, I know people that can't even get out of bed today and can't move. I mean, one day, sadly, that may be us as well. So for me, it's just live the dream if you can live the dream. And that's what people say to me. So the losing conversations, we can just take this car right here. I lost it. I didn't lose it. I traded it. But in so many aspects, I lost it. Wasn't here anymore. Brought it back. CB650. Same story. I didn't per se lose it, but it went away because I traded it for the CB1000R. So I lost it for a few days, only to bring it back. You can go out the driveway here, and we can look at the Ford F450 dually I just walked by. And I did lose that one because I traded that one for a mega cab truck that's in my driveway over here. So if you're watching my channel, I think I gave that truck up. I can't keep track. Just can't keep track. But we lost that, brought it back. The first time in my life I have brought back 4 vehicles in my lifetime. I've never ever been buying cars and trucks, motorcycles back. I never do it. I just always move on. And I had my fun, but for some reason, I just don't know what's gotten into me about buying these damn vehicles back. I should just let them go. But I just get fixated on things. So yeah, so if you watch the channel, spent the time with me going out there and bringing back the Honda CB650, and what adventure that was. It was and here's a big F250 Tremor truck, which is incredible. I've had so many Tremor trucks, F-250s and F-350s, and I get rid of them only to, I lose them only to bring them back. I mean, so it's just, yeah, I know, I get it. So yeah, rainy day. I tried to take the dry trailers, meaning I'd much rather take an enclosed trailers yesterday because I got soaked. Surprised I'm not sick. But yeah, it was just too much of a project. So I took that. What a great trailer. I came from Florida. And I do like the trailer except that rear ramp. If you watch my channel, you know what I'm talking about. So the losing aspect of us ice people, I talk about it all the time. And so many others I think are right there with me. It's all about us losing the love of these internal combustion engine vehicles. And the agendas of the world just want us to all cave and abide by their ways and become the electric vehicle age. But I think a lot of people, I just think that we're seeing through the sales in this country, and even so a little bit in the world, but mostly in this country more, they're losing sales on these electric vehicles. The F-150 Lightning, I talk about all the time, the Mach-E, they're losing sales. But in general, the car market per se right now is losing sales because of the dynamics of where we live. Wow, the sun's coming out, it's warming up. The kid and the wife are still in Tennessee. Where's my race truck? Yeah, I lost my race truck. Where is that? The kid's down in Tennessee driving it. She's like, this is mine, Dad. This was for me, right? And like, yeah. No, you're going to lose that attitude because it's Daddy's truck. It's a Daddy's truck. So over here, the one thing about life we all know, it's all about the losing, but it's also all about the winning. And you always have to have a loser for a winner. It's common sense. And I just think to myself, I'm fortunate because I can truly share with people my experiences of all these different cars and trucks and motorcycles I own, of what I feel is the loser and the winner. And it's just incredible on how so many years ago when I bought my first GT500 Mustang, I felt that was such a winning product that the Hellcat love faded. And I totally converted into more of the Ford Mustang guy. And I let go of like all my Hellcats. I totally became Mopar less. I lost all my Mopars. And a lot of people that know me and follow me as far as like car forums, they were just blown away that I truly lost all my Hellcats and Mopars and Rams and Jeeps. They just all thought, wow, what Kool-Aid are you drinking? You've lost it for sure. But I got to tell you, the GT500 Mustang, fun factor, so many things that make that car more enjoyable than the Hellcats. But at the same time, the Hellcats are pretty cool. But wore my Indian gear because I thought, the great conversation I think would be about the Indian and the Harley, because that's the loser and the winner. Who's the winner? Who's the loser? And it's really interesting that this Indian forum that I really haven't been participating in, the Indian Motorcycle Forum lately. I now have been because I've been getting some help from others in the forum about that Indian Pursuit. So I'm a little bit more active again in that forum. And really great posting this morning. A gentleman reached out and said, hey, has the CVO Road Glide raced the Indian Challenge? Does anybody have a video of these two bikes racing each other? And for me, I would have to say it would be really close. I think that these bikes would be pretty much, it'd probably be head to head. I would think, because this Challenger that motor is just so nice. But at the same time, this new 121 motor is definitely a torquey bike. I've even got a video showing on how when I put this thing in sport mode, that back tire on me was busting loose when I was getting into it. So I don't know, but I think I'd rather focus more on who's the winner, who's the loser, and that goes back 100 plus years ago. If you look at the Indian, I'm drinking my coffee, so sorry if you lose a moment here as I'm talking. Got to get my coffee in me to keep me going here. I've been on a losing project or a winning project like every day here lately, like every day. If you're watching my channel, you'd be like, right, this guy's on a freaking mission of always buying something and losing things and winning things, I guess. I don't know. Or am I just totally losing it like I just said? But here's the thing. The Indian Harley, lose, win, it goes over 100 years ago. So the flat track and the dirt track, and there's tons of history. And that's what motorcycle racing, car racing is all about. It's all about the brands trying to show you who's the winner and who's the loser. And yeah, and so it's been a very ongoing, long, term relationship between Indian and Harley of who's the better bikes. And that's the constant question. And for me, I've talked about it numerous times. And some of you say, you really need to do back-to-back rides in these motorcycles. Well, I really have in so many ways. I mean, I know the motorcycles, and I drove that motorcycle here recently when I was just trying to confidence myself that bike doesn't have a shimmy in it. I upgraded the exhaust, and I gave the exhaust away to the good friend Tactical Mex that watches my channel. So he now has the Tabs exhaust. It's not on his bike yet because he's in the military, but eventually he'll be back home. And he wants to go riding. And of course, when he gets back in town, we'll go riding. He's reaching out to me like, hey. I'm like, yeah, of course we'll go riding. You're not that far away from me. We'll make that all work. And so, anyways, I ride these motorcycles. And it's a brand challenge. And that's the challenge for many people is many people are a Ford brand and they just can't break away from the Ford brand. Many people are Mopar. They just can't break away from the Mopar or Chevy or Honda or Triumph. And that's where it's very challenging for, I think, some of us to really feel like, are you really going to jump? I mean, there's so many Harley people I know that have been sitting on the sidelines on the Indian product for years. I mean, I've met them. They test ride the Indian, they like it. But they go back to their Harley. And they're reluctant to think that the Indian's a better product. And in some ways, I think they feel like the Indian's the loser because of the challenges that Indian has had for so many years. But anyways, yeah, I mean, between the two bikes, I say it all the time, and I'll say it again. This is the muscle car. The Harley Davidson is the muscle car. It's the Dodge Hellcat product. This BMW, that's what I say. Say this BMW. This Indian Challenger, it makes me think of a more refined, engineered, better balanced motorcycle that would be like a BMW. So, and that's the type of ride you get out of the Indian, incredibly confident, riding, balanced motorcycle. And the Harley is more just that badass, muscle feel, heavier bike, not as balanced as well, great exhaust. The engine, I like the 117 engine the best. 121, it sounds okay, but the exhaust sounds really good. The feel, it's just a really heavy feeling bike over that Indian. Another thing too with this Indian Challenger Elite is this has electronic suspension in it that all the other Challengers do not have. Only the Pursuit Premium package and the Elite package of Indian offers this electronic suspension. I've showed it to you numerous times of how you can dial the bike in to exactly what your weight is, what your gear weight is, and that makes the suspension be right in tune with you riding it so it handles the road from the weights that are on the bike. But it also has what they call lean technology, where that's to come in with the braking. It's more dynamic than I can explain as an engineer that I'm not. But I can honestly tell you, this motorcycle in the back roads, it's the weirdest feeling when you go through the back roads on how this bike like holds you up as you lean through these corners. You can just feel the bike controlling you, so that in some ways it's really freaky, and in some ways I feel like it's even borderline dangerous because you are overconfident in your capabilities. Because even for me riding this motorcycle, I can attack the corners faster, and I feel very confident going through the corners very fast. And if you're an experienced motorcycle rider, you know once you attack in a corner, if you've overcompensated, it's over. I mean, it's over. This is why people die. The most common crash for the speed demons is the back road cornering where they go off the road. And so that motorcycle there, in so many ways, is a winner. This Harley, it doesn't have that same type of feel. But the new inverted front forks that is on this motorcycle, they had to compete with the Indian product over here. Just like that Lowrider ST over there has inverted forks. These inverted forks are a huge difference from the previous generation Harley Davidson CVO. The previous generation CVO had a bigger wheel and tire. So by Harley addressing the front end with the inverted forks, smaller tire and wheel, different handlebar setup, this bike has a lot more confidence, and you can really attack the back roads where it really feels like a really nice sport bike. So which one wins, which one loses? I think each one's a winner. I think each one's a loser. And why do I say that? Because I think that the Indian the Indian Challenger, I've been talking about the Pursuit so much. Yeah, that's a loser right now in my life right now. It has aspects on it that I feel like in some ways, that liquid cooled engine doesn't just give you the same as this V-twin air-cooled engine that now does have a little liquid cooling in it through the heads. But overall, it's that engine just sounds when you start it up. The exhaust, I think the Harley wins in the exhaust. So, I mean, I can go through all the critique and leave it at that for now because we'll be talking all day long about the motorcycle. You've heard these conversations throughout my channel of the losing. I shouldn't say the winning and everything else. So over here, we go to the Hondas and Triumph and wow. So here, look at these bikes. These things just for me, what is going on? Once again, I just think these motorcycles are so nice. And I just think we're coming to an age where we're going to start losing this type of stuff. And somebody's like, what do you mean by that? Well, I think that the age of the evolution of this electric technology is so on our doorstep that as the years progress, these are going to be things that people are only wishing they could have owned because they're going to go away. Yes, I mean, sadly, the motorcycle market is going to go to this freaking green agenda, zero emissions ball game. Not tomorrow, but it's going to happen. And I just think these aren't expensive. These are $10,000 motorcycles for the most part. This was $10,999. That was $11,999. These are not expensive motorcycles. So, I mean, they're very inexpensive in today's world. People have credit cards that rack them up to 10 grand. I mean, come on, give me a break. I mean, but then you get back here, yes. And you get over here, yeah, that's double the price as that. In some ways, not totally. And then back there, those get very expensive. So, the losers, what's the losing aspect of these motorcycles is as you get older in life, you lose the capability to ride these. And somebody's like, well, why would you lose the capability to ride this motorcycle? How would a person that's 60 years old, 50s, whatever it may be, well, it's because of your body stature. And as you get older, hold on here. As you get older, you lose the flexibility. If you're not a really athletic person, if you don't stay really mobile as you get older in life, your body, ages. And you don't have the same physical capabilities. And so a huge problem, the reason many people buy trike motorcycles is because they can't support a motorcycle anymore. They have hip issues, knee issues. So they have body issues that take away the two-wheel bike to a three-wheel bike. That's the most common reason you see older guys on Harley-Davidson trikes is because their body can't ride a two-wheel. So the whole point is, as you get older, for like me, as I get older in life, am I riding this when I'm 70 years old? I doubt it, even though I know a guy reached out to me who was 70 years old and commented how he has this and rode 1,000 miles in one day. I was very impressed. But until you really see the architecture of the bike and understand it, and I've showed this many times, the way these foot pegs are and the way the shifter is and the way your body is crouched up into this motorcycle, it puts pressure on your hips and on your knees. And if you're the person that's not in the greatest of physical condition, you will cramp up. You may not even be able to throw your leg over this thing without you cramping up. And that's what happens. If you've ever cramped up on a motorcycle, it's pretty brutal. And then the seat, how does the seat feel? So there's so many things that you lose on these sport bikes as you progress in life because they're not as comfortable. And that's why most people, as they progress in life, then go to the bagger bikes. I mean, that's been me for most of my riding years, the last 10 plus years. And I've owned the motorcycles where the T-bone of your tailbone is just destroyed. I mean, destroyed. And you're standing up on a motorcycle. If you ever see people riding down the road, especially like some adventure bikes, even sport bikes, if you see them standing up, if you think they're showing off, they're not. The odds are their tailbone, their tuchus is so sore, they're having to stand up so that they can get the pressure off the back of they're so uncomfortable. I've done all this stuff. I know. I've done the back-to-back riding on a Harley-Davidson motorcycle that I could ride all day long. And I've then gone to the next day and ridden the same areas down in Tennessee on my Triumph Tiger 1200. And oh my gosh, it was a total mistake. I was in dire pain like most of the day. After I left the house and got about 100 miles away, it was like, wow. And I got another 100 miles back. It was, oh my gosh. And I was having to stand up. It was really bad. So let's listen to the winner. Who's the winner? Who's the loser? Here's the exhaust. So let's listen to CB 650. Let's see how this thing sounds. Okay, nothing that special. Nice though. It's that good Honda, technology. Let's go to the CB1000R, which I just think this thing, the black edition, I just think this thing's badass. Okay, where is my button? Right? Listen to that. Wow, right? Is that just badass? I mean, this is the bike. This is me. Yeah, the kid. That's the kid over there. Even though she's like, yeah. Wow, right? So who's the loser? Who's the winner, right? I think we all know. I think we know. I mean, wow. Is that radically different or what? Yeah, so the CB, but it's, in some ways, it's not half the engine size, but in some ways it is. Even though looking at the motors right here, so that's the loser, right? Yeah, once again, so in the Dodge Mopar products, who's the winner, who's the loser? Well, no, the Scat Pack, it's not going to win over the Hellcat, so it's the loser. But at the same time, it's a great car. It's so much fun. The losing, what are we losing? For us as individuals, as we all progress, the ongoing conversation, as I talk about every day on my YouTube channel, is the aspect of how the EV, the greenies, are so wanting to take away the love of our ICE. And it's truly on our doorstep. I think a lot of people are like, and it's the federal government, even the automotive manufacturers are falling for all the green agenda activists. And as well as I do, 3 years, 5 years, those years can go by very quickly. We're now borderline, through 2020, we're into 2024. You're starting to hear mandates of 2027, 2026, 2030, 2035. So for us, Ice Age people, I've said it a gazillion times, where's the leading activists that are fighting like never before to slow down the green agenda? Because the Ice Age is losing out to the EV agendas. It's just incredible on how select people can get this movement of talking about they know the future and the EV, and we're seeing more than ever. I mean, for me, the Inflation Reduction Act, is anybody really abreast to the Inflation Reduction Act? I mean, sincerely, I think to myself, this is you yourself in so many ways, and even me. I mean, this isn't a direct attack to anybody watching my channel, but I feel in so many ways that we're living in a governing body more than ever that just looks at us like we're just losers. We just can accept whatever they say and whatever they want to do, and you know what? You're just going to accept it. I mean, it's really bad. And the Inflation Reduction Act, are you kidding me? I mean, sincerely, does anybody think the Inflation Reduction Act that Joe Biden signed as an Inflation Reduction Act, what does that mean? Can anybody help me here on my channel? Doesn't inflation reduction mean that things get cheaper? Wow. I mean, and argue with a person that's all about the green agenda that you're just losing it. You're lost. You don't get it. That's where the conversation goes when you get into talking to people about all these new laws and new policies that are on our doorstep that are trying to transform the whole infrastructure of this country. And the powers to be, I just don't feel like the people that are powers to be are winners. I truly feel like they're losers. I mean, who doesn't feel like right now, more than ever in our country, we have the biggest losers ever in power? I mean, I'm sorry, we do. If you would just stop and accept it and say it, I think you'd be smart to say it, but that's the problem. People will then say that you're the loser. I mean, that's where it gets deep and heavy. But here's a good story for you. So I had a nice tank bag that I bought for my daughter's bike, the CB650. And it's a really cool setup because this actually, look at that, that's funny. I'm going to scratch the tank with this little bolt that's actually magnetized to this tank thing here. How about that, huh? Yeah, is that going to be a lose? That's going to be a lose. So this is a good story because I traded this bike in on Saturday, okay? So the bike goes in on Saturday, and somebody decides to take the bag. No lie. So this is a pretty cool system. It's a quick attach. It's a plug and play where you put this down here, it detaches, then you have little clips right here so you can remove the bag if you don't want it in the tank, okay? So the bike comes in with all that on there, and then yesterday, I never even really explained on how I got this back. It is an interesting story, but before I get to that, so the bike is in the back end to be checked out and then to be put up for sale, and the bag disappears. The tank bag disappears. And see, I put this on. Put that on, tank bag, and I'm pretty sure that's all we did the bike. I had other accessories, but I gave them back and they gave me credit for them. So when I found that out, I'm like, what a joke. Because that's just disrespectful. You just don't do that, especially at a motorcycle dealership, a really nice motorcycle dealership. So anyways, the whole point of this conversation is I thought in some ways, they know they didn't lose the bag. They know somebody in some ways stole the bag. And for me, I'm just like, really bad. So I think once the individual saw who was buying his bike back, the bag magically appeared. So I've talked about this yesterday in my video, but I think it's pretty cool that somebody's like, you know what? I know who that person is. I think I better give that bag back. So I'm just glad that somebody was brazen enough just to say, yeah, I made a mistake. The story could be, hey, I put it in my locker because I didn't want it to get stolen, okay? We don't really know the story. But the good news is I got my tank bag back. But how did this all play out? It's incredible how right now, since Friday of last week to Saturday, this created 3 Honda motorcycle sales. I mean, this is incredible. This here, when I was out in Winchester, Timbrook on a Thursday picking up equipment, stopped by. I just sold my good friend out there, Bill, that runs Timbrook Honda Winchester. Hey, I haven't had a four-wheeler now for the first time in my life in like 27, 28 years. So that there created that there, which then the end result created this. And after riding this CB 1000R on Sunday and having so much fun this motorcycle, I really was like, on Sunday evening, I was getting ready to text Bill, my friend. He's a friend of mine that runs a dealership, great guy. I was going to text him and say, I want the CB 650 back. But I didn't do it. And I even texted my daughter, and I said, hey, would you like me to get the CB 650 back? And she said no. I'm like, all right. So I was like, okay. Even though I feel like these are such good motorcycles for your skills and capabilities, these are such good motorcycles, I think, that you can ride that aren't heavy, and they're just, I think they build skills and confidence for you as a rider. That's why I like these other bikes. I like other motorcycles because I think it makes you a better rider at the end of the day. So interesting how the front fairing, that little fairing there, this bike needs that type of same setup. It'd be a huge difference, I think, in the airflow. But anyways, so you know what? So then Sunday evening, I was like, nope, I can do that. All right, let me get upstairs here. The morning's going to progress in my adventures of talking about the losing conversations and get the dogs here for Daddy. All right? So here you go. In the office here, right? And so anyways, so it's the same old story for me. Yeah, and somebody watched my channel. What's going on with the F450? I'm sure some people would be like, I thought you were getting a Ford F450. I don't know if that'll play out. I'm always just weighing my options. I've got the deck of cards of all my cars. Yeah, how about that, huh? I never sell those, do I? That's a better thing to buy, right? So, get my adjusted for you. Just sit down here if I can. It's never easy. Oh my gosh. Getting things set up for the ongoing conversations of the losers of life. And sadly, we have a lot of losers in our life more than ever that are voicing really bad stuff. It's really bad. X is just so bad. X, Twitter is the worst. You have so many people mouthing off of that forum that are just, in my view, losers. I mean, losers. Just be unbelievable. So back to the, okay. So yesterday morning, the Bill texted me, "Hey, the Gold Wing." So I really want to get a 2024 Gold Wing. I'm really more on the page right now. I'm going to go more Honda than Harley or Indian. That's where I'm going for the moment. That's where I think I'm going. We'll see when the bikes come in. So he texted me, "Hey, I've got a bill from the Honda that I've got a few of the new 2024 Gold Wings coming in." I'm like, "Oh, geez, here we go." So he texted me that, and then a little later, I responded. I said, "Hey, could I get that CB650 back?" And he was like, "Well, I guess if you want it." So then I was like, "Well, what do I give up?" So then I called him, and the Honda Fury. I mean, that Honda Fury it's a cool chalk-looking bike, but overall, it's not very comfortable. And yeah, is that thing going to sit there and collect dust? Yeah, it will. I mean, do a lot of things I buy sit and collect dust? Yeah, they do. If you follow me around, you may be the lucky recipient to get a vehicle that I trade in or sell because it was owned by the Iceman that didn't use it much. Yeah, people have been rewarded by that a lot. And so anyways, so then it's the Honda Fury, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know how those numbers will work. But anyways, the good news is Bill was really aggressive on giving me good money on the Fury. He was aggressive on the trade. So he didn't abuse the trade policy of me giving that back to him. And then him, so the numbers, all that really happened was I flipped a debt from a debt. I mean, sincerely, that's all I did. Because I bought the Fury back in January. I bought the CB650 in June. So just crazy how that played out. But that's what's so crazy is if he hadn't reached out to me to tell me that the Gold Wings were coming in here in the next few weeks, I never would have even called him. This never even would have played out yesterday. And that's what's really weird about all this. I'm a huge Honda guy, and I know the way it works. Typically, Honda doesn't bring the Gold Wings in for the new model year until January. And back in 2018 is when I bought my first Gold Wings. I bought two of them. And it's every year. And that's what everybody's saying at the dealership is you're not going to see his 2024s. But I kept on telling them, I don't know. I think Honda may switch it out. So that was, it's like the car gods, the motorcycle gods. It just doesn't end on me. How does that all play out? Right. So, yeah, so the losing conversations, what's for debt? Well, once again, I thought about we're living in today's society. We witness stealing, stolen. It's so bad. It's so rampant. I talked about it yesterday, the quitting. We live in a society today more than ever that people quit. People just raise their hand. Look at the homelessness in our country that's growing by leaps and bounds for so many people that just eventually just give up in society and they quit. They become homeless. How many people resort to drugs? They just quit. They're not happy with their life. They just quit. And sadly, we know that the drug deaths are through the roof. I mean, all this stuff, what really befuddles me as an individual is under Joe Biden's administration from 2021, really, it's 2021, that's when he came to office, to present day, all this stuff, in my views, it seems like it's become worse. I mean, in my views, now, I could be delusional. Another person that loves Joe Biden could start saying to me, well, the crime was rampant prior to Joe Biden. The illegal immigration was rampant prior to Joe Biden. The fentanyl use was rampant prior to Joe Biden. And you know what? I would look at him and say, I'll agree with you to not argue with you on that because I want our country to be better. I don't want to argue with individuals, but I thought that Joe Biden said he was going to build back better, the country build back better. So for me as an individual, if I was very neutral, then I would have gone and voted for Joe Biden because he told me to be build back better. But the reality is, can you please explain to me that you're sitting here now trying to say that before Biden showed up, this all was happening, but in my views, I think it's gotten worse. But I thought it was supposed to get better. So where is that conversation for the Joe Biden supporter that watches my channel? It isn't that I want to argue with you. I'm just asking for some better information. Maybe the information isn't correct. Maybe the inner city crime is overrated and it's really not that bad. Maybe the overdose of drugs and the fentanyl use in this country isn't as bad as it is. They're just propaganda media machine. Maybe the homelessness of this country, the homelessness encampments in all these cities that you see, maybe that's just propaganda. I mean, maybe that's what's going on. I mean, I personally think that what I'm seeing is real, but maybe I'm just delusional because that's where we are now. 2023 going to 2024, the media machine is wanting to convince so many that if you think the way I think, you're a loser. You're a loser. You're totally off base. Just like the electric vehicles, you'll have a green activist tell me that I'm so wrong on wanting to try to continue to keep the ice age available. And I would always be like, no, you're so wrong because I said we need to have both. We need to have both. We just need to have options. We need to have electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, hydrogen, ice, whatever it may be. We need to keep everything where the demand by the consumers kind of creates more of the future instead of you as a green activist telling me how tomorrow is going to play out. And that's where people have a separation of views, and that's where it turns into the arguments. But somebody will say, oh, you're just a loser. You know, a very active green agenda person that tuned in my channel, they'd say that guy's a total loser. He's all addicted to this ice age, and he's part of the problem of this whole world. Okay, so I mean that's the thing. They want to use that to make you feel like you're a loser. Just like if you want to vote for a certain person, the media machine will truly start ramping up that you're a loser. And then what happens is the weak, then start caving to the message that you're a loser, and you then jump to the other side of the fence where you think now you're not a loser. But in so many ways, it's like you're supporting a losing policies. You're supporting losing policies. That's what I just talked about, the Inflation Reduction Act. Can anybody on my channel reach out and please share with me? Don't give me the gasoline thing. It is so freaking stupid. Oh, the gasoline prices are down. Inflation is down now. It's beyond believable. Oh, really? Gasoline? I used to sell gasoline. I used to sell fuel. Fuel is constantly up and down, up and down. It'll never, ever change. It'll be the world economics that are involved in the barrel of oil. It won't be just a local hometown or how many people you guys are buying gas. It doesn't work that way. So there's a lot of variables in how that plays out. And what's incredible is, in so many ways, this own administration has circumvented itself on its goals of converting people to the EV age, because when we have $5 gas, when we have $5-6 gas, a lot of people start scratching their head. Is it time to buy an electric vehicle? I've talked about it numerous times here. If we had a major gas crunch and you had to go sit in line for a day or two and get gas, I can guarantee these electric vehicle sales will go through the roof, because people would be like, screw this. I've got an electric vehicle. I'll plug it into my 120 outlet, and by the end of the week, the car will be charged. But I'm not sitting in line for a day. Yeah, that's how people think. I mean, that's where it all goes. That's how it play out. The danger is, if everybody ever started really buying these cars in what Ford wants everybody to do, and Elon Musk, Tesla wants to do, there's not the infrastructure to support these many cars being on the roads of you getting recharging capability. It would be a nightmare. Could you imagine right now? They're already saying that the Thanksgiving travel today is going to be back to pre-pandemic levels of people on the road. Could you imagine that if there's X percentage of vehicles that were electric vehicles? I'm sure to a degree there may even be some stories out there today of people traveling that go to these electric charging stations, and there's all these different variables. Number one, the charging station doesn't work. Number two, there's 5 people ahead of you. All of a sudden, your trip has gotten way delayed. I mean, that'd be interesting to see the stories, because there's not enough charging stations to support a lot of vehicles all at once to show up to charge their vehicles. So in that aspect, you're losing. I bet you there's stories of people taking road trips. It could be a car breaks down. I mean, it goes into all aspects. But the whole point is, under the Inflation Reduction Act, here we are handing out billions and billions of dollars of infrastructure that is supported by your tax dollars to build what they're saying is going to create an Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, is anybody? I mean, is anything getting cheaper? I mean, so you're saying that when they build out all this new technology of semiconductor battery or semiconductor manufacturing, battery manufacturing, electric car manufacturing, solar panel, in this country's unions that want to unionize everything will be the main workforce for all these factories. That things are going to get cheaper. You just have been told that the UAW agreement is going to create an $800 to $900 more for a car. I think it's going to be far more than that. But here's what's really interesting: the LA Auto Show. Okay, the LA Auto Show that's going on. They're showing all the technology and everything else, and they've got key engineers, software guys, techie guys are out there at the LA Auto Show, and it's very interesting to hear the conversation. The conversation is China. Yes, China. These tech guys know that China can obliterate this country of where they're going with this technology of electric vehicles. Yes. So this is a fact. The average run of electric vehicle in China production before they revamp it is 3-4 years. The average run of this country is 6 to 8 years. The average cost for electric vehicle in China is U.S. dollars $30,000. China is aggressively trying to get a relationship with Mexico as we speak. Yes, did you just hear that? China is trying to get in Mexico, because when they get into Mexico, they're going to be able to have their Chinese-made cars in our American turf. Yes, because we have a Mexico trade agreement, blah, blah, blah. It's relationships. If China ever gets a stronghold of putting a manufacturing plant in Mexico, this whole Inflation Reduction Act that Joe Biden created, it's going to be the biggest fiasco you've ever witnessed in modern times, of how China will totally circumvent this whole infrastructure that will have people out of jobs in manufacturing, domestic side here, like you've never seen. It'd be like, oh, that's radical. It's not radical. This country is like I think we're number 2 in the world of car sales, car purchases. China wants that pie, and they're going to do everything and anything at any cost to accomplish getting into this market. And I talked about it here the other week. The BYD, Build Your Dream, Warren Buffett, the Berkshire, whatever it is, investment company is heavy in BYD. Why would Warren Buffett invest into a losing company? He's not a loser. That guy's a winner. So for Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, the worst thing that's going to play out in this country is the China influence that more than ever is on our doorstep. And it's been talked about numerous times, the CCP, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. It gets heavy and deep. But do you think that that's going to be a winner for this country? I think it's going to be a total loser for this country, because this country it's the labor issues. Why did everything go overseas? It's the labor issues. Because if you're a manufacturer here, you will lose competing in the world market per se. Depends what industry and what trade you're in. But overall, it's very challenging here with the laws and guidelines of the governing bodies that monitor how you can do things versus overseas. And sure, we've cracked down on international type of manufacturing. A lot of variables there. So now here's the next thing. Who's losing, who's winning Argentina? This guy Milei, this libertarian, has just taken over the Argentinian government. That's a socialist government. And wow. So the socialists just took a huge loss for this guy, Milei. This guy is a wild man. I mean, for me, I'll be amazed this guy's assassinated. I mean, I really am. I mean, somebody on YouTube is like, wow, I'll be amazed if this guy that's over there in Argentina and he's out there ramping up the opposing views to a socialist 20-plus year country that's going down the toilet. Yeah, that country's in disarray, like Venezuela. The costs and everything have gone through the roof, and it's loser policies, and he's taken over the government. And people are going crazy because they don't like this, even though he's trying to right the ship. There's so many other people who don't want to right the ship, and that's where we are. That's where we are right now in this country. We are truly the model of Argentina. You can look at that and be like, no, because we have losers in power in this country. We have loser leaders, policies, agendas, and you have so many people that now for 2024 are going to ramp up the rhetoric of no, you're the loser. We have the winning ways as this country, as we know, in so many aspects, seems like in disarray. I mean, just wow. It gets heavy and deep. I know that. Leave it at that. The losing conversations. Once again, we got to stay strong. The ice age has to stay strong. And for those people watching my channel, we got to stay strong. And you're even seeing on X on how people are advising people that if you go to Thanksgiving dinner with the family and a conservative guy shows up, just tell him he's a loser and shut him up. I mean, this is the type of language that goes on in X. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You know, Elon Musk definitely has opened up to free speech on X, and I mean, it's really, for me, it's like just get off that, get off, because there's people who are so radical that want to make you feel like a loser in life. It's really bad. So, anyways, hope everybody has a winning Thanksgiving, even though family, Thanksgiving, we all know. Can that be a winning adventure or a losing adventure? How many knows those stories? Well, this year, I'll be by myself, per se, and probably go hang out with my friend Chris and Shannon at their house for Thanksgiving. And meanwhile, I'll just have to be thinking about my mother and father and the family in Florida, and my wife and mother-in-law in Tennessee, and the kid in their side of things. So anyways, hey, everybody, happy pre-Thanksgiving. Hope everybody has a nice, safe holiday, safe trip. And as always, stay safe. God bless. What am I doing next? Who the heck knows, right? Do I even know? Yeah, you've lost it, Iceman. No, I haven't lost it. I'm just having a lot of fun. So everybody, have a great day. God bless. Stay safe.